our conversation now shifts into what people have been talking about. The 8 bills that were signed into law on Wednesday last week. It's actually around this time. Around this time on Wednesday last week.
Yeah.
A function that was in State House ended up with the signing of this particular 8 bills. And yesterday we saw a statement being issued by former Chief Justice David Maraga, the senator from Busia County, Okiya Omtatah, the presidential hopeful, Dr. Ruben Kigame, and even later Dr. Ruben Kigame presenting a petition to court to seek the halting of the implementation of the particular bill, Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Law now. Our guest is the senator who will take us through the issues around this particular pieces of legislation. Good morning, Senator.
Morning.
It's good to have you. Karibu sana.
I'm also honored to be here. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Okay.
What's on this t-shirt? Re Kenya.
It's Reke.
Reke.
Respect Kenya.
Reke Gwiri.
Oh.
Respect Kenya.
From the national anthem, Kenya is Tahili Heshima.
I like that.
Respect Kenya.
Yeah, one of the goals of our independence.
Okay. Okay. To get to the conversation, Janet is going to give you the day's quote.
Yes, the day's quote is by Simon Sinek. A British-American author and leadership thinker, Mariam and Eric, leadership thinker and motivational speaker. He once said, integrity is when our words and deeds are consistent with our values. Integrity is when our words and deeds are consistent with our values. I'm sure, Senator, it's something that you believe in and you stand by.
You can't add or subtract anything from that sentence.
It's enough.
Yeah.
As it is, that's it. Right? Let's look at matters of integrity, even as we look at this particular pieces of legislation. And let me just read excerpts from the statement that was read yesterday.
First of all, I need a small correction.
Yes.
I did not participate in that.
You are not here, but you are among the people who have been talking about.
No, I've not spoken about it so much, and I was not part of the yesterday's press conference by the Honorable Chief Justice Emeritus. Though he invited me to the venue, I did not participate in that press statement because I was of a different opinion.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why I've carried all the laws here.
We will hear the opinions. Okay. So let me start with the statement.
Yeah.
Because when the CJ Maraga invited us to cover this, among the people who were going to address was you, and you were not there. And you'll tell us why you were not there, because you acknowledged that you'd been invited to this.
Yes, I was invited.
To this particular one. The former CJ says, at exactly the same time that the nation was grappling with the news of the demise of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, President Ruto was in State House signing into law not 1 but 8 bills, some of which are quite draconian. What a shame. He said they include the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Amendment Act, the Privatization Act, the Land Amendment Act, the National Land Commission Amendment Act, the Wildlife Conservation and Management Amendment Act, the National Police Service Commission Amendment Act, the Air Passenger Service Charge Amendment Act, and the Virtual Asset Service Providers Act. He says they've carefully reviewed these bills and they have issues with them, and they wanted to focus on particularly 2 bills, the Computer Misuse Cybercrime Law, which in essence, he says, seeks to control and crush political dissent and protests in the guise of expanding protections from cyber criminals. It's not lost to us that in June last year, when Kenya's youth rose up against the finance bill, President Ruto labeled them criminals and terrorists. The addition of Section 6.1 on the functions of the National Computer Cybercrimes Coordination Committee gives unconstitutional power to this committee to issue directives to render a website or an app inaccessible for promoting, amongst others, in what he writes in quotes, illegal activities. Simply put, the former CJ continues, this unconstitutional committee can order the closure of any website, blog, mobile app, Facebook, X, TikTok, YouTube, or Instagram accounts for allegedly promoting illegal activities. The expansion of these powers glaringly lacks provisions for sufficient judicial oversight. Moreover, this is a direct affront to the rights of fair administration action and fair hearing in Articles 47 and 50 of the Constitution. Are you of a contrary view to this?
Well, first of all, the comments are on bills, and even if you see what is displayed on your screen, that green thing is the proposal that went to Parliament.
Yes.
That's not what was sent to the President. And I took my time to print out the various bills, and there were eight bills. 6 were bills on new laws, the Privatization Act, and the one on the cryptocurrency. Yeah? And then there was the other ones were amending existing laws. So the first one is the Air Passenger Service Charge Amendment Act is here.
A very brief one.
Yeah, it is just three small paragraphs, and it's basically doing something good. It's basically editing the word Tourism Promotion Fund to the word Tourism Fund, which is in the Tourism Act, and then it's channeling money that's collected from here so that it can go into that fund. So that cannot be a Dragonian act. That's one. The other act is the National Police Service Commission Act. It's a very simple act. It's also a small act. You can see it is just 4 sections.
4 amendments.
4 sections. And that's something very good. It's dealing with the issue of health, mental health in the police service.
What does it say?
Basically, the bill is it requires support for mental health of well-being of police officers. It introduces definitions of words like counseling, psychosocial support, wellness, and mandates the establishment of counseling units in every police headquarters around the country. And they will be requiring the commission and the inspector general to work together. You have seen a lot of suicides, a lot of shootings, a lot of in the police.
Yes.
And this is a very good act.
Sounds like it's actually bringing to light what David Maraga's task force
actually recommended. Yeah, recommended that time.
Okay.
So it is a very good act. The other act we have is the Wildlife Conservation and Management Act. It's also a very small act. It's also 3. It's also how many? Yeah, just one page. It's 3 sections.
Right.
Basically, it now addresses the question of
marine wildlife
issues when people are injured or whatever, and then it expands to say that who should be involved in determining what compensation, and it requires also locals to be involved, and then it defines animals. It includes the shark, stonefish, whale, and stingray as among the animals that if they killed somebody, that person will be entitled to
compensation.
So again, I don't have a problem with that bill. It's a very good act that comes in. Then the next we have is, according to my list here, how I analyzed them.
The Land Amendment? Or?
Yeah, it's the Virtual Assets
Virtual Assets
Providers Act. That's a complete act.
It's a new one.
It's a whole bill, it's a whole law. So it's basically to create a legal framework for operating in this new area of cryptocurrencies and stuff and whatever. And Kenya has been lacking this law.
Very true.
It was long overdue. And I think there's a very good attempt if you compare. I've read it in comparison with the ones in Nigeria, South Africa, and whatever. It looks like a fairly good law that is going to govern that sector. So it was signed into law. I didn't find an issue with it. Then the next I have is the Land Amendment Act. Now, the Land Amendment Act also updates the land register. And if you look at it, some people have written acres and acres of commentary, claiming that it is imposing
new levies on everybody who owns land.
It's a very small thing, nothing like that here.
What does it say?
It's basically, he says that, basically my understanding is that it introduces a new definition of registrar to make it consistent with the definition of registrar in the Land Act, Section 12. It says that registrar is mandated to register land, including land set aside by individuals or land buying companies for public use, whatever. And then says upon registration, registrar may publish whatever we have. And what's important is it requires it requires that all public land be registered. And you know the kind of problem we have right now. Many schools, like public schools, have been, because they don't have a title deed and whatever. So again, this is a very good act. So when people are commenting on the bills and not on the acts that the president signed, I found it a bit difficult. It's just a very small thing.
Let me ask you a direct clarification here then. Does this land laws amendment have any part where it's talking about charging levies and rates to freehold land?
No, it doesn't address it. There's nothing, even the word levy does not appear anywhere, or rates.
Rates, levies,
simply,
freehold.
It says that the public land, registrar shall register public land allocated to a public body or institution by the commission. The commission allocates the land, the registrar registers it. Then it goes on and says it will be done according to the Land Planning Act. Then it goes on and says, upon registration of land under that section, the registrar shall publish a notice in the Gazette specifying the particulars of the registration and issue a certificate of title to ABCD. So it doesn't have anything like what people are commenting about.
So this is a bill that was sponsored by Simon Kengara, the MP for Ruto, right? And people are then confusing it with a previous...
An old act,
a bill that had gone to Parliament.
This has gone to Parliament and never saw the light of day.
Never saw the light of day.
And if you look at the extracts they were highlighting, they're green, which means of the proposal, the bill as published, they are not white like the vellum that I have here. These are the vellums that went to the president, that the president signed into law. So it doesn't have anything like that.
Again, for our viewers and listeners who may be tuning in, this is a word I learned yesterday, so wachanue pia. The vellum is, yes, that version of the bill/act that was signed by the president. So not what first went to Parliament, was amended, or whatever was assented to about a week ago. But go on, Okiya.
There's something also that you've said, Senator. The color, because you keep insisting on the color. It's green. It's green. It's green. Now, please educate people.
Now, when the bills are published, you have two houses in there, in Parliament. The color for the National Assembly is green. The color for the Senate is blue. So if the bill is published on a blue paper, it means it was introduced in the Senate. It was published on the green paper, it means it was introduced in the National Assembly. Now, when that green paper means that's the proposal that went to Parliament. Now, when Parliament deliberates, what is sent to the president is never published on any of the colors. It's published in black and white. So it comes out on a black and white like this. So many all the commentaries you have been seeing were on those bills. And you'll find, like, on the, except for the cyber crimes bill, there was a commentary about the fines. Those are already in the existing act. They were not in any bill. They were already in the existing act, only that they were exaggerated to read 20 million, not 7 million, and 10 years instead of 4 years. I think section 42 of the current law provides for those fines. But if you look at the vellum that went out, there was nothing like that. The only problem I have with the Computer Misuse and Cyber Crimes Act is that it introduces very vague concepts that can be misunderstood, be abused to curtail the freedom. So, if I were to fault it, as I intend to do, I would fault it on the basis of being void for vagueness. Number two, it also brings in concepts like, which I've not seen anybody discuss. It brings in a concept like inappropriate sexual content of a minor. Is there appropriate sexual content of a minor? There is none.
There's nothing like that.
So what is it trying to justify? You see, these kind of reckless words are the things I would fault.
So that they would bring in no confusion in the implementation of the law.
So the other thing is that the commission, it's not a bad thing that where it is proved that a website is violating the law.
The court.
Now, who proves?
Who proves, yes.
Yeah, that lack of clarity there would also make it void and could be open to abuse. Then now when you go further down, you find that the 46A talks about the same issue, but now with the court doing it. So there's that duplication and contradiction in the law. So it's a very, very poorly drafted law. So I would attack it on technicalities that concern how it was drafted and those kind of things, and the failure to comprehend concepts. Because to talk of inappropriate sexual content of a minor is to undermine everything you've done about minors.
Yes.
Saying that it's a no-go area.
Agreed.
Okay. Again, for clarity. This one was a bill introduced. It was a private member's bill introduced by the MP for Lamu East, Mohammed Obo. No, not that one. No, the computer misuse. It was introduced by Eden Dawood Mohammed,
Eden Dawood.
the MP for Wajir East. And when it was being treated in Parliament, the issues that you're seeing here, you're raising, are the way it was drafted and the vagueness that it introduces.
Yes.
Do you read mischief?
Well, I don't know.
Because part of the things that are in the public domain is that, there could also be mischief, that this is a backdoor route of trying to come and curb on people's freedoms.
Well, since we are founded on the narrative of the devil having confused Adam and Eve, we are wired for conspiracy theories. So there's always that, but I don't act on that. I act on hard scientific facts. The scientific facts I see in this act is that it is dangerous because it is very vague. It can be taken either way.
Right.
So there is need for law to be clear and easy, so that when people who are bound by it can understand it easily.
Right.
So that's the issue I would have. But see, if just like if that sentence had read where it is proved by a court of law.
Okay, Senator, let's go through, because a lot of people have not had the chance to go through this Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act now. But some of the things you're raising red flags about, I threaded. If I miss some, we'll get back to them. But then let's go through. These are things that for me, were red flags. But if you agree, yes. If not, why not? And then we can also now find the fix after. So let's start with the issues of the language. The National Computer and Cybercrimes Coordination Committee may issue a directive to render a website or application inaccessible. That's basically to take you offline, right? If it promotes unlawful activities, inappropriate sexual content of a minor, as you said. What is inappropriate sexual content of a minor? Terrorism or religious extremism.
I think I've missed out something.
Yes?
It begins with where it is proved that.
Yes, where it is proved that.
A website
promotes the inappropriate sexual content of a minor, terrorism, religious extremism, and cultism. So that begins, for me, like he says, the vagueness of the language, where it is proved that, who is proving, what is inappropriate sexual content of a minor, given that all sexual content of a minor is inappropriate. Terrorism has been weaponized in the last few months. Just this year alone, we have seen peaceful protesters being charged with terrorism. So already that term terrorism has been weaponized by the state. So then again, to bring it into this act, when it's not, and we have clear definitions of what is considered terrorism, but already we've seen the weaponization of that term. So I'm like, is that also problematic? And the thing that saved people in court was that we have clear guidelines on what
if I may ask you,
constitutes terrorism.
And Senator, you can also just add on to this. Is this law mentioning the word terrorism for the first time? This amended law?
It is
or as a Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act, as it was previously, also touching on terrorism,
it has been amended,
on pornography, on extremism,
religious extremism and cultism.
And cultism.
Yeah, unfortunately, this act has been amended so many times, and it has been a subject of litigation. I wouldn't know what the current version is, but these terms have appeared before. And some have been litigated, some successfully, some not. And so it was also there was also so the issue has been that there should be judicial supervision over administrative acts that affect the enjoyment of rights.
Okay.
The Bill of Rights. So that's the big beef, that there should be judicial supervision. So that even if the police want to confiscate my gadget, they should even go through a sealed application and get orders.
And a warrant issued.
And get a warrant to confiscate my gadget. They don't just break my door and get in and confiscate my gadgets. That's what we are trying to say, that let there be some judicial supervision to avoid overreach.
Okay.
Excitement and all this kind of thing, and weaponization of some of these issues. That we are saying that if this particular section had been drafted well, it would have enhanced the protection of rights. Because people have been trolled on the social media, people have been insulted, you get all these kind of things being done. You are now in the age of deep fakes. So you need people
to curtail that.
Yeah.
Senator, let's pause there and go into a break. I mean, it's like class has moved. There's somewhere I'm like, wait. Because if I'm understanding the senator, is that this is the one act that is problematic, but I still see gaps in some of the others. But we'll come back and unpack this one in detail. Senator Okiya Omtatah is with us in studio. Just as we read earlier in the news, it's about the 8 National Assembly bills signed by President William Ruto. Many term it as the timing was off and even the nature of the bills was off. It's coming up to 7:30. We'll come back and continue this conversation.
Nice.
Very nice. Mama J, where was the outrage when these bills were passed by your MPs? That's what she's asking online.
Great question.
This is what happens when you stop paying attention to what your elected official is doing. She then goes on to say, Okiya Omtatah is doing a good job breaking down these laws. It looks like he doesn't have an issue with the concepts of the law, just needs clearer language. Is she right? It just needs better language. It needs to be clearer.
It's poor drafting. It's technical on the side of it.
That then leaves us open to misinterpretation and weaponization.
It's very dangerous. It's not an innocent act or whatever, or a harmless poor drafting. It's dangerous poor drafting.
It could have serious implications. Janet, you said that let's finish with this Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act, and then you can say even in the other laws that the senator is saying this were just procedural amendments or an introduction of a new law.
But the remaining two have got
big issues with. Mariam, are you done with your concerns around?
No. Just one. We don't have enough time actually for me to go through all my concern. There's where was this? To the court, it authorizes the court upon application by an authorized person to remove content or materials, to close or deactivate a computer system, website, or digital device that has been found to, contravene all these other things. Who is an authorized person? To close or deactivate a computer system. Who is an authorized person? Again, it speaks to the vagueness that
the drafting.
There's
the order comes from the court to that authorized person.
Authorizes courts upon application by an authorized person. Yes, so the order will come from the court. But who is this authorized person who is going to the court?
Now, if I were to look at that, the authorized person will be the CCK. And that's the other problem with this bill, that is introducing another body to usurp the powers of the Communications Commission of Kenya.
Actually, tell us about this committee, because there's this National Computer and Cybercrimes Coordination Committee.
Yes, that committee.
Is this a new entity being introduced in this? And what is the justification for it in this law?
I don't know whether there's a justification, whether or a purpose for it. There may be no justification for it, but there's a purpose. So the committee is, I think the committee is already existing or something.
In the current law?
In the current law. It's just being given more powers. It's being given more powers.
No, it exists, yes.
To do those things. So it's not being given powers that naturally belong to the CCK.
Okay. So then, Mariam, doesn't answer that question on
Who is the authorized person?
authorized?
No, because then it should say.
It should be the CCK.
Or the fact that
But
it
now,
hasn't
from
been
the way this act is looking, it could be like the committee, which could be that authorized person, whether a person can be a body. Yeah.
Another one. There was a part on what in cyber harassment. Something that is likely to cause a person to commit suicide. What are those things? Like there's.
Like the validity of trying to protect, but again, if you leave out the
express definitions, but all my questions were on those, like the language issues. So when you say something that is likely to cause a person to commit suicide, what is that?
Cyberbullying.
This sounds like a conversation that should have happened
Before.
at the committee stage of this bill.
Yeah.
In yesterday's statement by the former Chief Justice, he says it's also worth noting that there was limited public participation in the passage of this bill, with only 3 written memoranda with all signatories opposed to the amendments. Unsurprisingly, the MPs yet again ignored the views that they received, even from the relevant ministry, and the President followed suit with signing the amendments into law. 3 written memoranda.
Only? All against
Yeah,
amendments.
but 3.
Yeah.
In this country of 50 million well-educated, 844-driven, many people, wajuajis, only 3 who are now, all the people who are talking now, only 3 actually participated.
The issue could be there's a very bad culture in this country. Like I've seen when we do public participation on budgets in the counties. People want to be paid to go for those public participation. They want to be paid to be helped. So, if I get you out of a ditch, I pay you to pull you out of a ditch. It's a very bad culture that we have.
Basically, as to Eric's point, we've brought ourselves here.
Yeah.
I think there's
It's answering Mama J.
It's answering Mama J.
Where were we as
so
this bill was going through the
element,
process of Parliament? Because it did not skip. It wasn't published and passed on the same day.
Yeah.
It went through the stages of Parliament.
Went through the stages.
3 memoranda were received in objecting to this particular.
The only thing is that the way public participation is being done, that you either send up a memo to the clerk, or you go, and it's for all bills. You saw when they were doing the bill on, the amendment bill on that wanted to entrench NGF and whatever.
NGCDF.
And they went to all constituencies.
Yes.
And held public participation.
Yes.
They did not just rely on written whatever. So maybe we need to look at that public participation, how it's supposed to be done, whether there should be some structured way of doing it, and is it public participation that is just supposed to be a formality, or does it have to have substantive impact on that? Should there be a threshold upon which, if the public rejected something, then that thing dies? So we need to do that, but we don't have legislation on that. Again, that leaves egg on the face of Parliament. There's no legislation on public participation. So we've gone largely by what the courts pronounce themselves, especially in the early days of the Constitution, some of which is very limiting to what's really public participation that is effective really is supposed to do. So there was Parliament, we have failed as Parliament to come up with that law that would really unlock that potential of engaged democracy. So that has been an issue, but I don't know whether the number of that means that no opportunity was accorded, or the opportunity was accorded and the people did not pick it up.
Yeah, and sometimes, and we've talked about this. Remember, you talked about the impeachment of the former deputy president. When public participation, when it's within their interest, you will know. And I think
it will be in the dailies. It will be in the dailies for you to fill. Yeah.
It will be on, and I think Senator is right. I keep going back to there's a gap in how public participation is carried out, is explained. I'm not saying it as an excuse because it's true. Even what Mama J has said, I'm like, anyway, where was my outrage?
Yes.
How did it pass so many of us? Did it pass us, or was it just too technical to understand and access? That's
but it's not technical now that it's law.
Yes.
So it was technical and it was a bill. When it has become law, we are suddenly.
Very clever. Very clever.
I don't know if senators, if you've exhausted.
I think your 2 other bills.
I've got
2 other laws that you have
I've got 2 others. Yeah. Now there is the National Land Commission Amendment Act. Now this one, is a bullet aimed at me. Directly, it's a bullet by Parliament aimed at me, because in 2021, what happened? The Constitution established a National Land Commission, gives it the mandate to investigate historical injustices and those kind of things, and review allocation of lands. Does not impose a timeline on that. Parliament, through the National Land Commission Act, decided to impose a timeline of 10 years to limit the work of the commission. And they are doing this from 1895. The commission is underfunded and all that. So the aim was to defeat the constitutional provision that the commission could continue executing that mandate. So I went to court, petition number E349 of 2021 in the High Court here. So I've slugged through the courts. We had a hearing sometime in July. There's a judgment coming in November, on 20th of November, before Honorable Chacha Mwita. Now, this amendment, and I'm challenging sections 14 and 15. Now, what this amendment has done is to repeal those sections so that by petition it becomes overtaken by events. The law I'm challenging is no longer there. Then reintroduce the same issues, but it's in slightly different version. That's why I say this one, I put it directly aimed at me. Because Parliament is anticipating losing this challenge. So they are now playing games to defeat that particular petition. And in fact, yesterday I began amending my petition. I'm doing an application to arrest the judgment. So that I made my application now to cover these new changes.
So what does
because they are still imposing timelines. Now they have said, that was 10 years, and it had expired sometime in 2021. In November, I think 2021, the 10-year period expired. And therefore, somebody with a land grievance could not go to the commission to be heard. And you see, when you go to the commission, it's a tribunal, it's like a baraza. They come and they listen to everybody. It's not like a court where there's so many technicalities you have to deal with, you have to pay lawyers, you have to do whatever. So the tribunal is very accessible to the common person. So these people are land grabbers, are the ones who are pushing to curtail that provision in the Constitution that there should be accountability for land.
Oh, that's dangerous.
And so that's what we are fighting over. Now they have amended it and brought in a new requirement that now, from the commencement of this act, there will be a 5-year period within which the commission should clear all the issues from 1895 to 2010, or if there's need, they can then extend again. But my argument is that Parliament has got absolutely no power to impose a timeline on a constitutional provision that has got no timelines.
So let me ask you then, Senator.
Yeah.
When this bill was going through Parliament, did you participate, or did others who think like you participate and object to the introduction? Or
I did not participate. I became aware of it. But because I'm a senator, I'm forbidden from appearing before the National Assembly.
Of course.
Unless the Senate, a motion is moved in the Senate, and there's a vote allowing me to go and appear.
Do others who think like you object to that?
I don't know,
as far as you know.
I don't know if people objected or did not object, or even if they understood the implication of this. Sometimes people don't understand. Like when you say you've been given 5 years, you may not understand the mischief.
Right behind
that
it.
the person is trying to say that after 5 years, the commission loses the mandate.
So, nilipotea kidogo, just a bit on what your case in court is. This amendment is to, yes, give the National Land Commission a period of 5 years, additional period of 5 years. What's your court case? My court case is that the Parliament has no business imposing any timeline on the work of the National Land Commission. It is free to do that even for, in 100 years to come, as long as the Constitution is not amended. Because you should understand that somebody might be in a remote area like Mandera, may not even be aware of these things, because the further away you come from Nairobi, sometimes the more you are removed from information.
Yes.
So this people might come up with an issue, and some of them come. Even from near Kiambu, I had a case which came to my desk, which prompted me to go to court. I was not even aware of it. This guy came to me and said, I have this problem. I want to go to, can you help me go take it to court? And I said, why don't you go to the National Land Commission? Then he said, I've gone to the commission and I've been told the time I'm locked out by time. So that's when I became aware of this issue. And upon digging, I realized that there were landowners in this country who own a tracts of land, who had sponsored the bill in Parliament and were pushing it. And even when I filed the case, they came to my desk with money, telling me to withdraw. And I told them, unfortunately, I'm not wired for that.
Do you feel like naming them?
I mean, not name them
because,
but if you look at it, but they've come into the case like a party opposing this.
Yeah.
So we are fighting it, but they're landed, heavily landed fellows in this country.
Okay.
And who acquired that land illegally?
Illegally, so.
Who don't want
a
the
timeline within which you cannot complain.
And now when you go to court, you get things like statutes of limitation.
Yes.
You're told you are late.
Yes.
That doesn't apply to the commission.
Okay.
Right.
So that's the mischief.
That's there.
That's
is
defined in
being
the bill.
That's
What's the
one.
other bill
The
that you
other
have a
one,
problem with?
The other bill, now this is the worst. The privatization. It's a whole act.
Yes.
This is what the president, so this is the volume that the president signed. And first and foremost, it defines, it's about privatization. Well, before maybe I could say that they've said that the bill did not concern counties and therefore it could not come to the Senate. And none of these bills came to the Senate, by the way.
None of the 8?
Yeah, none of them came to the Senate. Could not come to the Senate. And therefore,
You did not participate.
did not affect the counties, so it did not participate. But land
There's an argument
Could not
there
or
for-
did not come to the Senate, sorry.
did not come to
Did
the
not
Senate.
come to
And
the
was in the bill itself, it was designed that this bill did not concern county government.
Yeah,
There's a
so-
conversation there to be had about, what goes to the Senate and what goes to the National Assembly.
exactly.
Because,
The National Assembly considers everything.
yes,
But the Senate is being
It's limited.
restricted to county matters.
It's a very small area of legislation.
There's a
Now,
conversation
counties
there.
occupy a lot of land. And they hold a lot of land. So if you say it doesn't affect counties, to me that's arrant nonsense. Because the counties are totally invested in land. Now that's the first point that didn't come to the Senate, and therefore for me, it's a void law. Number two, it defines privatization to mean a transaction that results in a transfer other than to a public entity of assets and or liabilities of a public entity, including the shares in a public entity. Now, this one again kills this act. Because under the Constitution of Kenya, the proper reading of it, if I read it correctly, I think it is Article 68, Clause C, Paragraph Roman 4. Public land cannot be privatized in Kenya. So in a privatizing Kenya Pipeline Corporation, you cannot privatize the land it sits on. You cannot privatize anything but the land. And these land grabbers are after the land that is in public assets. That's why they're defining privatization as transferring anything.
I see.
So on that basis,
I actually see East African Portland Cement,
Yes.
which is a real estate entity
Yes.
now, more than even cement company. It's a lot of land. So if you were to privatize EAPCC, it's basically just even transferring that land to private hands. And you're saying that is unconstitutional, Senator.
it is unconstitutional because the Constitution is deliberate about the laws on land. And that section I've just referred to, Article 68, Clause C, Paragraph Roman 4, states, Parliament shall enact legislation to protect, conserve, and provide access to all public land. There's nowhere where Parliament can legislate for public land to be privatized. You can only increase the size of public land by compulsory acquisition and whatever. You cannot privatize public land under the Constitution of Kenya 2010. This Privatization Act allows for that to happen. That you can buy KPC and acquire all the assets and are transferred to you, and therefore you'll own all that land from Mombasa
Where the
to Malaba.
Take me back.
Does the Constitution expressly say that
Yes.
you cannot privatize?
Look at
Conserve.
when you
I
protect,
hear that.
And
when you
conserve.
conserve,
It's not as specific. You're still like, where is the
no,
specific?
when you protect
And
Yes.
conserve.
and conserve, you know, it goes on legislation on land. There's a provision, Article 68, is legislation on land, what Parliament is allowed to do. And although that is listed, doesn't say that Parliament may do any other thing. So when you do legislation on land, your legislation must protect, conserve, and provide access to public land. does not allow Parliament to come with a law
Yes.
that privatizes public land. You can't privatize public land in Kenya.
Senate, I might be lost. What does the current law say about privatization?
Which one?
That's what I'm asking.
The-
Is there something
no,
that
the-
exists?
Killed by this.
This is, yes.
No, there was an issue. There was the 205 law
Yeah.
under President Mwai Kibaki,
Yep.
which people found unpalatable, those who want to grab land. So they came up with the 2023 law, which repealed the 2005 law. Somebody went to court. Fortunately, it was not me. Somebody went to court. No, I'm saying fortunately because it's not every people think, some people think that I just was things. But when somebody else
Just
goes to
wake
court,
up
I
and-
say, okay, then I think I'm also normal. Because other people are also thinking like me. So somebody went to court, and the Honorable Chacha Mwita invalidated that law of 2023. So we went back to
We
the
reverted to 205.
2005 law. Now, the 2005 law is not the one that was enforced, and now it's the one being repealed by this thing. Yeah.
What does it provide?
Yeah, what does it provide for?
I mean, why did we need to amend
Have a
it?
whole-
Yeah.
But
They didn't even amend, they're overhauling it.
I mean, why did you
That
need
is
to? Why did you
yeah.
need to rewrite the law on privatization?
Because the law restricted the hand of those who want to grab land. The law was faithful to the Constitution.
And
So-
it was even it was before the Constitution.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was before the Constitution, but this was what the Constitution also took onto board a lot of things that were done before the Constitution. Like if you get the ASECA, the Economic Crimes Act, Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act, was done in 2003. It's still being, it was influenced and the information of the ethics and corruption, whatever.
Yeah.
So it is there. So basically now, there's an attempt to go around the Constitution and undermine these protections. So when the government, the parliament has only the capacity on law, when legislating on law, on land, it has to protect, conserve, and provide access to all public land. Provide access to all public land. Now, how does that sit, even with the question of Article 201, which talks about the principles of public finance, whereby in Section C, what you have done today to benefit future generations. Now, they are saying that they want to sell these things, to monetize these things so that they can pay their bills and what have you. What happens to future generations?
Yeah.
There's a requirement that you take into account the interests of the future generations.
Very true.
So, on that ground, I would say that this law should die because it allows, it defines privatization in a manner that allows for people to privatize public land. The Constitution here only allows for public land to be increased through compulsory acquisition.
Right.
You see, you cannot convert public land to
Into
private.
private. Quick one. Does the bill at any point, and I haven't gone through it, but I went into the communication sent out by the clerk and highlighted the things that the bill talks about. Does it draw lines on what state entities, corporations, everything cannot be privatized? Is there any red line such that these are critical to national security, to this and that, they cannot be privatized?
No.
These are all profitable, we can
It doesn't do that. In fact, that's a more dangerous thing. It introduces in the definitions, again, I'm still with the definition, it introduces something called government-linked corporation,
You know what I mean?
which is, it defines as a corporation in which the national government or a national government entity is a shareholder with less than 50% of the share capital of the corporation. Talk of KenGen, talk of
Kenya Power?
Kenya Power, they hold 51%, just to allow them to
So Safaricom.
Safaricom and the same, so those kind of organizations defines that. Now, if you want to see now the poison of that definition, you go to Section 4 of the Act, which says, and remember the Privatization Act is the one that's used for privatization. We don't use the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act anymore. We have to use this Act for privatization of this organization. So they say the Act shall not apply to C, sale of government shares in a government-linked corporation. So if you are going to sell the shares of Safaricom, they're not going to be subject to this law.
To this law.
If you're going to sell these other government shares, they're not subject to this law. It even goes further now to expand this law and at E, it will not apply to any balance sheet reorganization. Balance sheet reorganization? Right now, KPC is they're about to reorganize that balance sheet by floating more shares. So the government shareholding is going to reduce, isn't it? So if they increase those shares to a point whereby the government shareholding becomes a minority in KPC, then do not be subject to this law.
Okay.
And there's no law to which it is subject. Then it goes on to look at the sale or transfer of shares by a county government. Remember, they told us that this law does not affect county government.
Yeah, it's just
here
like
they're telling
the
us
Senate. Yeah.
coming to that. You see that? So at that level alone, you can now see the way the looting is being prepared. A highway for looting is being created. So Safaricom will disappear, these other assets will disappear, and there's no law governing them.
Yeah.
You see.
Again, I think even just on the fact that it says, it mentions things held by counties, and it did not pass through the Senate. That alone.
That alone
is
We have to take a break. This thing needed a workshop.
I have to run away.
You have to don't run away. I had an issue with the one for wildlife. Like I had issues with some of them, but anyway, Senator Okiya Omtatah. Hopefully
we do part 2.
Yeah,
Senator.
I was going to say hopefully we can convince him to stay.
I'm trying to fight for my APs in Busia to be given some good accommodation. They're living. APs are living in a very bad conditions in my county, and I have an appointment with the IG, the deputy IG for the administration police. So I want to go and say I can assist my APs in my county to get better accommodation.
Thank you for that. And I think that needs to be across the board because it's a
So
all right.
I've also other things I've raised.
Okay.
Because if you look at it, it is not, and then you go through and you find that now a very dangerous thing it does. There's this Gazette notice that I carried. This Gazette notice number, in the act it mentions, number 8739. This Gazette notice, this Gazette notice is the one that was used for privatization of sugar companies and all that thing. And even you saw yesterday saying that the act, that the cabinet has approved this and that. It purports to revive this Gazette notice of 2009. The law says that the Gazette notice for privatization have a lifespan of 5 years. If extended with a room for extension for 1 year, then they expire. Now, this thing expired sometime in 2014. The act purports to revive it and implement it. Why? Because they have privatized the sugar companies. If you look here, you'll see the sugar companies, like Ntoya, like Miwani, like Mhoroni. They're in here. But there was no gazettement for the privatization because there was no commission to gazette when they were doing those things. Now they're trying to reverse engineer and purport that this act of parliament has retrospective effect that it can go back to 2009 and revive a law that died in 2014 and enforce it today to justify the privatization of two companies and other assets. If you look again here in this thing, in this list, you will see that there's our hotels. You see like here, you have a private golf hotel. Kakamega Municipal Council owns what?
20%. Yeah.
And these assets are now owned by the Kakamega County. So how do you do this without involving the Senate?
The Senate, yeah.
You see. So these things are there. So the mischief in this particular act, for me, is the one we should really focus on, read it in detail, and ferret out the corruption. And this one must go to court.
Are you going to court?
Yes, I'm planning to go to court on this and on the Cyber Security Act. So but this one is now where I can clearly see the mischief.
And I think what you also need to do, Senator and others, is create more awareness and public engagement so that citizens can understand some of these issues and the implication. Understand this is what the text of the law says, the implication of that practically, and what it would mean. So that even as we are interacting with other future legislation, we can look at it with a better understanding of this is what it means.
And then the final thing I would want to say on the timing of the signing of the act, maybe I don't know at what point, when these things were presented to the president, and whether he was acting because his time had run out. or he did. So I don't know. So that's why I've not been able to comment on the time when they were signed with the Right Honorable Raila having died. Then they were signed on the same day. So the president usually has 14 days within which to assent to a law. So or the law becomes automatic, or the bill automatically becomes law. So I don't know whether the president did what he did on that morning because his time had run out, the 14 days were out or not. So I'm not able to comment on that particular one until I understand when the bills were sent to him. And whether by waiting, the time would have expired before the funeral of the Honorable Raila Odinga had been carried out, because I think it would be more gross when the funeral was on to sign the act. So I don't know. So I want to give the president a benefit of the doubt
as you try and understand
what happened. But to me, the most important thing is the contents of the bills that need to be handled. And so, I'll leave you. I had brought a written. When I was invited in the evening to come here, I decided to do some small write-up. On the bill.
You take on the 8 bills.
You might take on the 8 bills so that I like going on record.
Okay.
Very good.
We can stay with this and see if we can highlight it as you leave.
So I'm reading it for you.
I hope we don't misquote it, but at least it's written down.
So we'll read it word for word.
Word for word.
You made me go to sleep at 3 in the morning when I was called late in the evening. So I decided to sit and write.
If we don't say it enough, thank you for what you do.
Asante sana, Senator.
If we don't say it enough, thank you.
Thank you
for
taking the time and for coming onto the show, but of course taking the time to do your job as Senator from and for Busia. Asante sana. That is Okiya Omtatah. He has been with us for the last hour discussing the 8 bills that President Ruto assented to on the 15th.
Do you need this?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay.
These are
all the vellums.
These are the vellums, what was actually assented to by the president. He's left us with those. That is Senator Okiya Omtatah. We'll go on a short break. Hashtag is Fixing the Nation NTV. We'll be back after this.